Welcome to the Cinecaps Plus. Today, we're going to take a look at the film called The Final Girl. If you're ready, let's get started. In a small interrogation room, Veronica, a 5-year-old orphan, sits across from William, who carefully questions her about the tragic loss of her parents. To his surprise, the young girl remains remarkably composed. He hands her a paper with a maze and asks her to solve it, and Veronica deftly completes the puzzle. William then proceeds to test her memory, and she recalls intricate details about their first house, astonishing the experienced agent who considers her perfect for the task. William extends an invitation to Veronica, offering to take her to a place where exceptional individuals are trained for special missions. Curious about his background, Veronica inquires about how he obtained his job. William confides in her, revealing that a malevolent individual was responsible for the loss of his own family. Decidedly, Veronica shifts the conversation and asks if she can have some ice cream, prompting a warm smile from William. Fast forward 12 years, and a teenage Veronica is seen paddling a canoe with William on a serene lake as part of her training. Afterward, William instructs her to stand barefoot on wet rocks, preparing her for a nighttime chase through the forest without shoes. William advises her against fighting on water, leading the teenager to request the use of a gun instead. He complies, giving her a gun and instructing her to wound him with it. However, Veronica discovers it's empty, and William resorts to throwing rocks at her to demonstrate the disadvantage of using firearms without ammunition. Veronica refuses his offer of a drink and is tasked with running back to their car, miles away, before he leaves with the canoe. Meanwhile, at a diner, a group of teenage boys, including Jameson, Daniel, Shane, and Nelson, hang out with Jennifer. The group's leader, Jameson, notices a new blonde waitress named Gwen and approaches her to get her number, leaving Jennifer curious about his fixation on blondes. Elsewhere, William conducts a test to determine if Veronica can harness her powers solely through her willpower and unexpectedly strangles her. Stunned, Veronica is unable to defend herself, and William releases her before taking her position. To illustrate how to escape from such a situation, he orders her to choke him until he falls unconscious. Veronica complies, and William pretends to struggle. Veronica stops, slaps him awake, and astounds the trainer with her immense strength. Subsequently, William engages in combat with the unique teenager and observes her rapid gun assembly skills, preparing her for a mission against the vicious teens. At the diner, Jameson leads Gwen into a dark forest, followed by his friends. At a bar, William instructs Veronica to approach a man in a brown sweater to assess her skills. She obliges and asks the stranger to escort her to the restroom. In the restroom, Veronica pretends to engage in a romantic encounter with the man, only to incapacitate him. William enters and commends her work but finds her unsatisfied. He concocts a scenario where the stranger kissed Veronica against her will, leading the confused man to apologize. In the dark forest, Gwen desperately flees as the group of friends pursues her with various weapons. They eventually catch up to her, and Jameson shoots her dead. Later, in an inn, William denies Veronica pain relievers for her headache. She lies next to him in bed, wearing a towel, and attempts to seduce him, but he declines her advances. William then secures Veronica to a stretcher chair and prepares an injection with truth serum and dimethyltryptamine, DMT, causing her to hallucinate and confront her fears. Veronica claims she's fearless, so William tickles her to remind her of her humanity. He injects her with the hallucinogen and secures the strap to protect himself from her enhanced abilities. As Veronica hallucinates, she engages in a struggle with a powerful adversary. William intervenes, shooting her assailant and waking Veronica from her hallucination. He questions her about her fears, and she admits to fearing failure on her mission. Curious, Veronica asks if William would kill her if necessary, but he refuses to confirm her suspicions, emphasizing the importance of staying vigilant. He declares her ready for her final test. Soon after, William drives Veronica to the diner and introduces her to her next target. They watch Jameson's group from a distance as Veronica learns that they have been responsible for the deaths of at least 10 women, including Gwen. Veronica is shocked to discover that Jennifer, Shane's girlfriend, is part of the group's cover. As the young men leave the diner, Veronica exits the car to gather more information. She engages Jennifer in conversation, attempting to discern if something is amiss. In a determined manner, Veronica confirms that her friend's problem has to do with boys, so she shares her story of unrequited love with her trainer. Luckily, Jennifer begins to feel more at ease and talks about her concerns regarding her boyfriend and his friends. She describes them as a group of friends who seem on the brink of falling apart. Furthermore, Jennifer wants to break free from what's holding her back. Veronica encourages her new friend and shares her motto, "Live today as if it were your last." Afterward, she says her goodbyes and leaves with her takeout fries, and Jennifer expresses her gratitude. While in the car, Veronica inquires when the group of friends will start their mission. However, William reveals that she must undertake the mission alone as her final test. Days later, Jameson enters the diner and notices a blonde young woman in the corner, who turns out to be Veronica. The cocky teenager takes a seat in front of her, and she introduces herself as new in town. Secretly, Veronica calculates her target while he sips on his milkshake. Jameson invites her to meet him again on Saturday night, with a condition: she must have clean hair and wear red lipstick. Veronica teases him and asks where they'll be going, to which he cryptically mentions they'll head to another world before leaving the diner. On that Saturday, Jennifer helps Shane fix his tie. He reveals that he and his friends are going on a hunt and kisses his girlfriend goodbye. Jameson arrives to pick up Shane, and they bid farewell. Meanwhile, Nelson finishes dinner with his mother, and when his friend's car honks outside, he kisses his mother goodbye and joins Jameson's vehicle, armed with a baseball bat. Later, they pick up Danielle, who is dancing in his house, and gets into the car with an axe in hand. He eagerly anticipates their next prey with excitement. Simultaneously, Veronica dresses herself in red and writes "I love you" on her mirror. Jameson arrives to fetch her from the diner and introduces her to his friends, who are surprisingly dressed in tuxedos. Veronica humorously asks if they're part of an a cappella group, and Danielle playfully farts, breaking the tension. Jameson instructs his friend not to scare their guest as they all get into the car. On the road, Veronica inquires if there will be other girls where they're going, which Jameson confirms. Danielle promises to introduce her to a girl named Annabelle, whom he describes as someone worth meeting. The men laugh, and Nelson expresses his love for baseball by standing on his seat with his upper body out of the window. Jameson accelerates while Nelson swings his bat, gleefully destroying road signs. Afterward, Nelson hands Veronica the bat for her turn. She stands on her seat, takes a swing, and misses the first mailbox, claiming she wasn't ready. However, she manages to destroy the second mailbox, earning praise from the men. Impressed, Jameson suggests they keep her around longer for their enjoyment. Eventually, Jameson takes a turn and parks the car on the side of the road. In the dark forest, Veronica wonders if they're the first to arrive, which Jameson confirms. He leads her to a gathering spot with worn-out couches and chairs where his friends sit in silence, staring at her. Veronica breaks the silence by asking what they typically do, and Danielle suggests they play a game. She offers them a drink from her flask, secretly laced with hallucinogens, as they take turns sipping. Jameson declines the drink, but the others partake. The arrogant man proposes a game of truth or dare with a twist: if you choose the same dare twice, you have no choice but to do it. Jameson starts the game by selecting a dare but opting for truth. However, Shane refuses to participate, so Nelson selects a dare that instructs him to kill something. So, he picks up a worm from the ground and eats it while Veronica looks at him with a disgusted expression. Later, Jameson discovers that Veronica isn't religious, but he believes she might turn to God in her final moments. Danielle, strangely, tells his target that real pleasure comes from pain and asks her to hit him. She agrees. Then, Veronica asks when the other girls will arrive, feeling outnumbered. Jameson reassures her that they're just having fun and continues the game. The arrogant man accepts a dare and kisses Veronica. When it's her turn, she chooses the same dare twice, which is to get tied up. Jameson ties her hands behind her back with Nelson's belt and picks another dare. However, he chooses the truth. Veronica asks him about Gwen, worried. Danielle sits up straight, but Jameson claims not to know what happened to her. The rest of the guys back away from the game. Jameson chooses a dare for Veronica, which says die. Veronica announces she wants to go home, but the arrogant man changes the game into a hunt and tells her to run. Veronica panics and screams for help while her friends laugh. Then, Jameson tells his friends to close their eyes and advises Veronica to run farther since they cover more ground. Giving Veronica a 5-minute head start, Jameson tells her to run for her life. Shortly after, Danielle excitedly runs to find Veronica and ignores the 5-minute rule. The others also start their search. In the distance, Veronica, no longer tied up, stops pretending and prepares herself. Meanwhile, Danielle starts seeing things and chases after imagined figures. He swings his axe, but Veronica dodges. They fight, and Veronica eventually takes the axe from him and wears his shoes. Nelson sees masked figures circling him and calls for his mother in fear. Veronica takes his bat and disarms him, engaging in a fist fight. Veronica overpowers him while Nelson imagines kissing his mother. Veronica crushes his head with a rock, killing him instantly. Elsewhere, Jameson calls for Veronica but finds Danielle's body by a tree. Jennifer arrives at their hideout to look for Shane. She finds Jameson with his ex and they kiss. Shane finds Jennifer's car and sees her with Jameson. Shane hits Jameson multiple times, but Jameson says that people like them can't love. Shane disagrees and reveals the truth about their hunt to Jennifer. Jameson points a gun at Jennifer, but Shane steps in. Shane tackles Jameson and beats him unconscious. He then chokes Jennifer, but Veronica strangles him until he stops breathing. Meanwhile, Jameson finds Nelson's dead body and follows Veronica's tracks. By the lake, Veronica tends to her dislocated nose. She hears Jameson approaching and they sit down to ask each other questions. Jameson reveals they were drugged with truth serum and hallucinogenic drugs. Jameson admits to killing 21 young women, including Veronica, which makes her laugh. Veronica asks about his deepest fear, and Jameson refuses to answer and hits her. He proposes marriage to Veronica so they can kill people together, but she declines. They fight, and Veronica eventually strangles Jameson, just like she did with William. She forces the contents of his flask into his mouth and drags him. A little while later, Jameson wakes up, and he finds himself in a tricky situation. Veronica warns him that making the wrong move could be fatal, so Jameson pleads for his life. Then, Veronica suggests a game she calls One Question. She asks Jameson if he's religious. Jameson is surprised and says no because he doesn't want to rely on God for help. Suddenly, he spots Gwen up ahead, along with many girls who had been harmed by him and his friends. Jameson is terrified, and he cries as his biggest fear comes closer and pushes him off the edge to his doom. Veronica watches as Jameson hangs lifeless, and then William joins her, praising her for a job well done. Shortly after, Veronica and William celebrate by having pancakes together at a diner. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. Make sure to turn on notifications and give the channel a thumbs up to support it. Thank you for watching.